Hey y'all, it's Gemini Jazz with House of Chiron. And I know I have not been around for a whole week. And I just want to give y'all an update on what I have been experiencing this week and why I took this brief hiatus from posting and talking with y'all and doing astrology and tarot and all that. So, this was a really, really big week. Beginning on this past Sunday, um, I normally do my galactic gossip. I did not. Um, I started feeling a lot of different energies and whatnot. So, and I was just listening to spirit and listening to myself, and I needed to take a break because there were downloads and messages and things coming through, and I needed to be as clear as possible for my own self so I can get the messages that were for me. So I took a break from sharing with the collective and doing the collective energy readings just so I can hear my messages that were specifically for me. Um, Also, there were some major shifts and changes that happened this week, and we're going to get into it. Um, but just a little background. So let's start off with the moon. We had the full moon in Gemini, which was the last full moon of this decade, which is major. I'm a Gemini sun. I have a Gemini stellium. So what a stellium is a cluster of planets in one sign. So I have Chiron, Mercury, and my sun all conjunct in Gemini. So, and it's all sitting in my second house. So the second house is ruled by Taurus, and that's the house of your values, your possessions, all the sensual things, touch, taste, um, smell, sight, all those things, as well as partnerships. So, um, and your money, of course. I don't know if I mentioned money, but it's the house of money. So the moon actually happened in my second house, but a full moon is basically when the moon and the sun are in opposition. So we have to look at both houses on the spectrum, right? Where the sun is sitting as well as the moon. So the moon was sitting in my second house, and the sun was sitting in my eighth house. So this full moon happened on that axis of the second and the eighth house for me. The eighth house is the house ruled by Scorpio. It's of deep, intimate relationships. It's also of other people's money, resources that are obtained outside of yourself, um, debt, karma, bankruptcy, death, transformation, all those things, right? And it could be figuratively, death or literal death, whatever. Y'all know these things by now. Y'all should. I teach y'all enough, right? Um, Either way. So this moon happened on my natal sun sign, right? So it was conjunct my sun in my second house, along with my Mercury and my Chiron, my natal Chiron. And y'all know Chiron is the wounded healer and whatnot. So that is me, and it sits in my second house. So my Chiron is in Gemini in my second house. So that means I have these wounds regarding my self worth and my self expression that I had to navigate through, right? And it is by way of me expressing myself and being myself that I was able to heal those Chiron wounds. So, getting back into this moon situation that happened on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? See, this week got me. Look, okay, we're going to get into it. So, when the full moon happened, when it touched down, um, it happened in my second and my eighth house. So, that's other people's resources, right? Or other resources that I obtained through other people. So, that's basically who pays me, my job, right? So, with that happening, I had a lot of, I would say, suppression. I felt suppressed a lot. So, and I also suppressed a lot within myself because it was on top of my Mercury, my natal Mercury. So my thought process, the way I communicate, all those things. And also, if y'all know, Gemini rules small business, Gemini rules communication of all kinds. That's internet, that's text, email, phone, conversation. Gemini rules all of that. So just imagine having this full moon in Gemini in this powerful house of your money, your communication, your small business, all of these things, right? And it happened on the 11th, but the energy was still very present up until yesterday, even though when the moon moved into Cancer yesterday. So this moon energy was really heavy. And I felt it all week. So that's why I had to take a break from talking to you all and posting. And I just needed to listen because there were things coming through that I need to take action on. So on 12/12 was a dynamic day. Let's get into 12/12. 12/12, Chiron, as y'all know, have been in Aries, right? So Chiron in Aries has been in retrograde for the majority of this year, I believe like half of this year. And it went direct on 12/12. 12/12 was the gateway portal day. 12/12 was also still there with that heavy Gemini moon energy. Um, and it was it was a really dynamic day. I will say that. So on 12/12, I put in my resignation letter for my job. Now, I have been a state of Texas employee for about 11 years. So that's all I really know as far as work. I mean, I have done other things, but the stability or the illusion of the stability that the job that I have had has created this stagnant, comfortable energy that I have just been sitting with for over a decade. And it's very funny because I literally have 10 years of service and we're ending the decade. And this is the decade that I decided to end my 10 years of service with the state, the stability, that I have thought that I had by working with a government agency. I mean, this can get really deep because when you think about the planetary alignments that we've had all this year with Pluto and Pluto and Saturn both being in Capricorn, shifting, transitioning, changing, transforming the structures that, and Saturn rules government entities, it rules politics. All these things are going through this major transformation. I'm just going to leave it like that because that's a whole nother video we can get into, and I'm not doing it today. We're talking about what the heck happened to me all week, okay? So, with that being said, I put in my notice. I did give them a nice lengthy notice. I gave them 6 weeks so that way they can do what they need to do in finding a replacement for Jazz. And I do construction contracts for the University of Texas here in Austin. It's not a coincidence because I have certain placements in my seventh house, in the seventh house rules contracts and partnerships. And so, yeah, it's just, this is the job I was doing, right? Doing contracts. It's just not ironic. Either way, Chiron going direct. This happened in my 12th house. 12th house is the house of the subconscious, right? And Chiron in Aries, so it was healing these wounds, having me revisit these wounds, these subconscious wounds, these subconscious thought patterns regarding my self-worth, regarding my big boss energy that I possess within me. I have Capricorn in my MC, which is my career, public standing, public status, how I show up, So I have Capricorn sits right there on my MC. So it was having me to really dig deep into my subconscious and into my psyche and heal those parts of myself that doubted that I could be my own boss. And it's not a coincidence, and neither did I plan to put in my resignation on that day. I knew it was coming soon. It was something I had been discussing for quite some time, but it's not something that I was like on the 12th because of this, and this, and these things are happening. I'm going to put in my resignation. No, I just got tired of things, several things, and I put in my resignation. Most importantly, I got tired of my damn self, doubting myself, um, that inner critic telling me you can't, you won't, you shouldn't, don't. Had to shut that up really quick, and I just did it. And I will finish all the way through January with the agency. Um, and I was very, very afraid, and I still am. I still have some fears. I think that's to be normal. I mean, that's to be expected. It's a normal thing to fear that. But I had one of my friends ask me, "How do I feel?" And I said, my response was, I guess this is how a prisoner feels when they know that their sentence is coming to an end. They know their release date is coming really soon. It's fast approaching. So it's kind of like I'm afraid to get out only because I don't know what's on the other side. I don't know what's out there. I don't know if I'm going to end back up in here, because I don't know how to adapt to the new world that I've created. But I'll take my chances. Anything is better than being here. And I'm not saying that entrepreneurship is for everyone. I'm just saying that working for somebody else is not for me. So I will be working for myself beginning 2020. As I always have been working for myself, been building House of Chiron. And of course, House of Chiron is not where I would like it to be. Because I still have my graduation in May. I still have to finish getting my master's degree so I can be a licensed therapist. And then House of Chiron will take a whole nother shift. But right now, I will be working for myself solely. And it's very scary because I am a single mother of two boys and they depend on me. Everything that they need goes through me. And it's for that reason that I won't fail. So I won't tell y'all that part. But with Jupiter being in Capricorn now, it has grounded and it's in my ninth house of my beliefs. So what are my beliefs? Um, and I had to really like dig deep. And so with all of this, it's helped me ground my beliefs in a more practical sense. And it blessed me tremendously, tremendously. Imagine having 11 years of state service, and the finances just worked out, and I'm grateful for that. So I am very afraid, but I'm stepping out on it. Um, and I'm just letting y'all know now, this is a new journey. So for all of y'all that have been like following me since the beginning of this, like I remember the beginning of this year, I think it was like January this year is when I actually started becoming very active on this page, or somewhat active. I had like 76 followers, right? Now I'm like over 500, and it might not seem to be a lot to some people, but to me, it's like 500 people really care about what the heck I got to say. What's wrong with y'all? But it's like for all of y'all who have been following me, y'all about to like see even more of a transition and a shift in my life and in the things that I offer and I share, because now I'm going to be not only I still be doing the tarot, but I don't coin myself as a tarot reader. Tarot is just a tool that I use. Um, and I'm going to be still doing the tarot. I'm still going to be doing the astrology, of course, 'cause that's like my passion. And I use both of these as tools to help with mental health. So I will be doing more mental health um, talks and, you know, giving more content regarding that because I've been afraid to share that. It's that Chiron, that womb, you know, what do you believe about yourself? It's in my subconscious, right? In my subconscious house, the 12th house. What do I believe about myself? Um, and I've always had these thoughts like, oh, you don't know enough. You're not, you haven't graduated. You can't share these things yet. You can't do this. You can't, all this, I can't, I won't, I shouldn't. Got to stop. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to go for it. And I give great advice to other people and don't take none of it for my damn self. Like, what is that? So, anywho, moving on to the 13th, which was yesterday. Um, Me and my beautiful, beautiful friends, Chanel at Lizzie's Charm. Brittany, you can find her at Yumi. Well, her Instagram is Fairy Godmother, and I'll just put their information down here. And then another one of our friends, Imani, but she doesn't have social media, at least not yet. Um, we all threw a goddess circle yesterday because Venus is Friday. You know, it's ruled by Venus rules the Friday, and it was Friday the 13th. And everyone thinks that Friday the 13th is about Jason and all that goodness. No. Yes, but no, it's not. That's not where it came from. It's the 13 moons. It's the day of the goddess. And I can continue to go into that and give you a whole spiel on that, but that's not what we're here for. Either way, we were in reverence of the day, in reverence of our goddess energy. And we threw a goddess circle in Pearland, Texas, which is right outside of Houston, still Houston. Um, and it was just women of all walks of life. Some were friends and family of ours, and we threw this circle. And everyone that was there were people that don't follow divination work that now have been enlightened to seeing things in a new way. There were people who do the divination work and have an understanding of what it is, and were there just in support, just to sit in that goddess energy. Like, like, and it was really great. I mean, we had great food, great company, we had good music, we were doing readings and astrology, and we did some journal prompts and got into a little bit of a little psychology, into some self-love and self-care, but not the bubble baths and the manicures and pedicures and lingerie, not that kind of self-care. We got into the real self-care that is not easy, where you have to ask yourself those harsh questions and actually give yourself an answer, and then figure out how you're going to take action on making a change on how you treat yourself. That's truly self-care. So we got into that dynamic of it, and it was a really wonderful event. So I just want to give a shout out to my boos, Chanel, Imani, and Brittany. We did our first one, and 2020 is just going to have y'all see more of us women doing more things, because we got stuff up our sleeves. So I'm gonna say. But either way, yesterday for Venus Day, it was Goddess Day, and I just got back not too long ago, and I want to share with y'all why I have been MIA. It's because I had a lot of things happen to me this week, or for me, really. Things happened for me this week, and I'm grateful, you know? So that full moon in Gemini activated my second house of my values, my possessions, and my money, as well as my eighth house of how I make my money. So I will be full time Gemini Jazz doing House of Chiron. Just here for the good news, honey. So I hope that y'all enjoy this journey that I am embarking on, and you know, If y'all have any tips and tools on entrepreneurship, I'm open. I am open. Talk to your girl. But no, seriously, I'm excited and I'm scared. So thank y'all for listening.